Hello guys, welcome to Top Anime Sensei. This video is the continuation video after an old friend. So if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The two thought they were quietly blocking the way, so as not to let Gadra pass through. However, from Raisin's point of view, they were bringing doom upon themselves. Stop, let him through. Huh, aren't we supposed to stop him? Then what did you call us for? They seemed miffed about the order, but Raisin had bigger fish to fry. It's been a long time, Gadra-sama. I'm very sorry for the delay in greeting you, for I had not known that you were still alive, said Raisin, kneeling down in front of Gadra. Raisin wanted to avoid antagonizing Gadra. In the worst case, he was prepared to go all out just to stop him, but it appeared he was wound up over nothing. Long time no see. Raisin, you look completely different from what I remember, but it seems that it really is you. Yes, unlike you, Master, I preserve my life through transference of flesh. I don't blame you, Gadra replied, so don't humble yourself too much. I came here today because I have something to ask you. Also, that beastman hiding there doesn't have to be so alarmed. Had I come to stir trouble, I would not have come here alone. The tension finally lifted. Nevertheless, they did not let down their guard, and left the scene after arranging a meeting with Gadra. The following day, a conference was set up in one of the rooms of the castle. The participants were Yaum, Rucius, and Raisin. Sarah and Grigori were on standby in the room as escorts of Yaum. Miran had also wished to join the meeting, but her request was declined. Yaum insisted that she get her rest after giving birth to their child. It was a baby girl whom they named Miem. She was adorable like Miran, and now affectionately being cared for by Edgar. Now then, Master, what did you want to ask? Before we get into that, there are some things I have to point out. Sir, young lad, you seem somewhat strong, but you are horrible at magic, aren't you? You see, that isn't something you can learn to use. You need to have proper control over your mana. That beastman there, you're Grucius, right? Gadra started picking at everyone's flaws one by one. According to him, Grucius needed to develop an eye for judging an opponent's strength. Transforming right in front of your enemy is like begging to be attacked first, Gadra sternly explained, as if he were scolding him. As for Yaum, Gadra started off, you do seem stronger than the average guy, but then followed up by instructing him to figure out ways of defending himself, since an over-reliance on the power of his gear rendered his own strength moot. Turning to Grigori, he gave him a bitter pill to swallow. He simply had to work on his skills and get good. Lastly, Gadra looked at Raisin and said, Raisin, I can see that you've been working hard on your magic. Is that magic possession type? Yes, it is the great secret art possession that I devised based on your theory of the mystic art reincarnation. That's an interesting experiment. Unlike my magic, you don't place yourself in a temporary weakened state, turning yourself into a baby when using it. Thank you for the compul, however, it's useless if you can't master it. I'm sure you can't draw out the full potential of that body you've stolen. Yes sir, Raisin broke out in a cold sweat after hearing Gadra's words. He was well aware of this fact, and now that Gadra had pointed it out, he had to believe that everything he'd just heard was spot on. How scary, he was able to see through our abilities even though we met just yesterday. Raisin didn't say another word and kept silent. Sarah and Grigori, on the other hand, weren't amused. Oi, don't get a big head now that he's all silent. What did you see in me to make you spout such bullshit? Anyway, that's right, I am indebted to Raisin Dono, but we have no reason to stand in awe of his teacher. If you're that confident, would you care to enlighten us? At once, their argument became heated. Raisin tried to shut them up, but the glint in Gadra's eyes told him to stay back. The old man had expected this turn of events, and intended to give the rowdy upstarts a little taste of his abilities. Well, if that's the road he wants to take this down, it would definitely shut them up good. Let me play along as you do your thing, Master, Raisin thought quietly. And so, as a light exercise before the meeting, a fight between Gadra and the team of Sarah and Grigori was held. They faced off on the training ground, their battle ending in a one-sided thrashing at the hands of Gadra. Impossible. This old man, he was going at both of us at the same time without breaking a sweat. He got us good. Gadra's strength was so overwhelming that he crushed their pride. As two of the former three martial sages, it turned out just as he had hoped. His little display of strength would be enough to speed up the following negotiations. Yet, their next words shocked him. But he's not as powerful as that demon, right? Sarah asked Grigori in a daze. You're comparing him to that guy. Though, I do feel like this old man's around the strength of that dog I fought. Sarah and Grigori easily came to terms with their recent defeat. What's more, despite witnessing Gadra's strength, they were remarkably unperturbed. As powerful as I am, in fact, a demon more powerful than me, Gadra was puzzled by their unexpected reaction. But it didn't sound like they were being sore losers. He felt their words were genuine, and just as he was about to ask, Gadra-sama, we shall discuss that later. First, I will answer your questions, Raisin announced as they walked off the training ground. They went back to the reception room and resumed their meeting. I expected nothing less of Raisin's teacher, Yaum commented casually. You're a true monster. There's no way I can win against you. While Majin Raisin's name was known far and wide, there were only a few anecdotes about the teacher that taught him. Grucius added with a nod, visibly excited. Niran said that you were a great man, who had built a new system of magic theory, and after seeing your fight, I believe it now. It came as no surprise, Gadra was a highly esteemed mage. After all, he could interfere with the mana of his opponent, obstruct the activation of their magic, and activate multiple spells simultaneously to achieve extraordinary effects and power. He pulled out all the stops during their fight, turning the spectacle into a breathtaking demonstration. Grucius, even at full strength, was no match for Sarah and Grigori. Watching Gadra effortlessly toy with them proved his strength beyond a shadow of a doubt. While Yaum and Grucius were in high spirits, on the flip side, the two recent losers sat there dejected. Nevertheless, they remained calm and focused on their duty as guardians. Well then, to what do we owe this occasion? Questioned Raisin. The reason I showed my strength was to prevent unnecessary resistance. As Raisin might know, I have a bone to pick with Luminism. I'm not interested in anything else, so I cannot bear to see this country suffer any unnecessary casualties when the Empire's invasion washes over it. Gadra tossed that bombshell out like it was nothing. The Empire? Are you for real? Yaum moaned. Why does it have to be now, when I am the reigning king? Exactly. Grucius added, I can't imagine us winning, and I don't want to endanger Murin and my daughter. She's not your daughter. She is my treasure. Yaum shouted. Shut up. Grucius yelled. We aren't blood related, but she is my daughter. I've decided to live as her father from now on. That isn't your decision to make. The two of them broke out into an ugly spat. Raisin cleared his throat and silenced the two idiots. I see. I understand why you came here, Gadra-sama. In return for saving us from the ravages of war, you want us to change sides and support the Empire. Correct. Do you understand how powerful the Empire is? In addition to that, I'll be there too, so if you join us, we should be able to bring down Dworgen with ease. That country is vulnerable to a siege. If you stop the supply of grains to Dworgen, they will be forced to surrender immediately. That, of course, required them to do something about Tempest. That's impossible, Gadra-sama, Raisin pointed out. There is now a railroad between the Dwarven Kingdom and Tempest, which enables high-speed transportation. Even if we cut off food exports from our own country, they'll get supplies from that one. That's why I'm telling you to betray them. Tempest's self-sufficiency in regard to food is not that high. From this country, Gadra-sama. Raisin knew full well how rude it was but interrupted him anyway. He could tell that Gadra was behind the times and hadn't grasped the current state of the world. The world of today moved at a rapid pace, much faster than ever before. If they betrayed the Western nations, it would lead to their ejection from the economic zone. In other words, the destruction of their nation would be inevitable. Even if this placed them under the patronage of the Empire, who promised them generous support, they could not expect to have the same prosperity they were experiencing now. That was how influential the West, or rather, Tempest was to the kingdom of Farminas. Raisin clarified everything for him. I see. The truth is, I already knew that, but I wanted to hear the precise story from you. But does Demon Lord Rimuru not fear the heavenly army? Of course, if he had the power, he could beat the angels, but even so, the damage to his creations would be enormous. The Empire had also considered introducing trains, but because of that, the plan had to be postponed. This was what Gadra said when he heard about the idea of connecting large cities with railways. His Majesty Rimuru isn't afraid of any damages. Indeed, boss hates it when people die or get wounded, but other than that, I think he would accept the cost of material damages. Rather, he might even consider the need for reconstruction work a boon. Raisin, Grucius and Yaum freely expressed their own opinions. Yaum's words in particular held a lot of weight. Humans by nature desired providing for others, giving them a drive to make the most of their skills. Anyone losing their job would become demoralized and labeled a waste of space. Some might even turn to crime. to prevent this from happening. It was the duty of leaders, employers, to prepare new job opportunities. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched my other videos, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates.